Welcome back. We're here for episode number 3 of How to Fix a Dead Bed, a Sexless Marriage. This week we're going to dive into the physical pillar. And like always, I have to give the don't eat crayon statement. I'm not a doctor, so anything that you do from this video, do it at your own risk. We're taught comforting lies when we're young about just be yourself. But that's not true. We need to be our best selves. Like we said in the last video, the mental pillar is the most important pillar, but men process their emotions through activity. So the physical and the mental pillar go hand in hand. Women can talk through their emotions and get through them. That's why it's always good to not be Mr. Fix-It. When she is coming to you with a problem, she just wants you to hear it. And by her talking to you about those problems and you reflecting them back to her so that she understands that you heard them, she's getting validation and she's able to push through the emotions faster. But men, we can't talk about it, we gotta be about it. The physical pillar hones the mind. So you need a certain amount of self-control and dedication to maintain a good physique. And in today's times, if you can get yourself to about 20% body fat, you're leagues above the competition. If you're at 20% body fat, you're in the top 15 percentile of men ages 35 to 45. But you also need a lot of muscle. The optimal physique is about 15 to 20% body fat at around 175 pounds or better. You'll see the best physiques out there are around 15% body fat at 200 pounds. The more muscle you have on your frame, the better for longevity and health. Women like the swimmer's body. Think Michael Phelps. And they consider the 15 to 20% body fat at 195 pounds the dad bod. Let that sink in. Here's like this is a picture of Chris Pratt. They like that build. The Renaissance period puts this form as your neck, your calf, and your bicep should be equal dimensions. Yeah, that's a dad bod, but it takes like 10 years of dedication to attain that physique. Like we always say, wanting is free, right? The 3 pillars of fitness are nutrition, stimulus, and recovery. It depends on where you are currently for the nutrition. If you're greatly overweight, getting started is really easy. All you have to do is just commit to eat clean. You can lose a significant amount of body weight just by cutting out soda alone. Also cut out diet soda. You need to be aware that alcohol and sugar and synthetic chemicals like aspartame are the only thing that your body can control in your bloodstream to stop it from forming a fat cell. Cutting out processed foods will get you a long way as well. Most of that crud on the back of your protein bar or all those processed things in there will spike your cortisol. Everyone knows what you need to do, you just gotta execute. Set yourself up for success by meal prepping and eating the same thing every day. This also takes away a lot of mental load from having to think about what you're gonna eat. Now you have more time to think about more important things. Now you don't have to do what I do, but maybe this will give you some inspiration. Every morning I wake up at 5 a.m., I go to do my workout, and when I get home, I drink 10 raw eggs every morning. That's 600 calories and 60 grams of protein. Then I eat a cup of steel-cut oats with a tablespoon of honey, cup of whole milk, and 2 eggs for lunch. That brings you up to 400 calories at 20 grams of protein. And then when I get home from work, I generally eat a fat ribeye 12-ounce steak with a tablespoon of butter and a sweet potato. That brings you up to 1,100 calories and 74 grams of protein. Now you might be thinking already,
your body can't absorb more than 20 grams of protein, bro.
Well, that's outdated science. They've got new studies that show that it does not matter how much protein you eat, it remains in your bloodstream throughout the whole day. You could literally eat only 1 meal a day as long as you're hitting your macros. That protein just synthesizes and goes through your blood all day long. Now, the 10 eggs, the oatmeal, and the steak runs about 2,100 calories at 154 grams of protein. Now, you want to aim for a gram of protein per lean body weight. And I know I just skimmed past that, but you're thinking, ew, raw eggs?
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
I would highly recommend you read the Raw Egg Nationalist Eggs Benedict Option. I've linked that below. He has some extremely insightful proof of how big sugar and corn bought out a lot of the studies in the past that demonize fat to try to pump the price of corn. And we're finding out now that cholesterol is pivotal for the formation of testosterone. It is the precursor for all hormones. Now we're going to geek out a little bit on this. 1975, Vince Gironda made this popular after the British Journal of Plastic Surgery released an article about how they saved burn victims with 35 eggs a day. Though they were ingesting up to 7,000 milligrams of cholesterol per day, this did not affect their serum cholesterol levels. That means that there was not an increase of cholesterol in their bloodstream. Now, I've checked this myself. After drinking 10 raw eggs a day for a month, I got my blood levels checked from the clinic, and my free testosterone went way up, and my vascular cholesterol went down 2%. That number has not budged in 5 years of measuring it. It was Dr. Desai who made the link that 35 eggs a day had the same result as a mild dose of Danabol. Stay tuned for my cooking video where I'll show you how to make his protein shake. Now, personally, I found it really hard to eat 10 to 12 eggs if they're cooked. And also, when the eggs are cooked, it breaks down a fragile amino acid that's needed for the synthesis of the hormones. The fourth phase of water comes into effect with this also. That's a very interesting read as well. That's that slimy stuff associated with like okra and chia seeds. This is actually plasma. It's like the blood plasma of the plant. And that's all that eggs are, is plasma. So this plasma can actually be converted into blood in your body very effectively. And when you drink the eggs, they're completely bioavailable. Now, like I said, it's really hard to eat 12 eggs, but drinking them is actually pretty easy. You'd be surprised at how easy it is to get them down, and they don't cause a problem when you work out. I'll drink 10 eggs and then go do a hard Metcon and I'm fine. Now, you will not be able to outwork a bad diet. Having self-control and eating the same thing every day is the easiest way. And it's nice benefit if you eat the same thing every day, you don't have to count calories either. And if you're a person who struggles with self-control, then I'd highly recommend the cold plunge. Do just a little bit of research into that. I've done it myself. I did a 30-day challenge and I learned a lot about myself in doing that process.
Total per week, so not one session. They observe legitimate increases in brown fat. People become more comfortable at cold temperatures. You get this 2.5x increase in dopamine that lasts many hours. Norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine are called the catecholamines, all increase substantially.
Cold plunge essentially just regulates your nervous system. And you're also beating out the bitch in you to get in that tub. I noticed that once I was done with a 30-day challenge, my nervous system was a lot more mellowed out. It was really helpful with my teenage daughters without knee-jerking into a defensive posture. If you've got enough dedication to get into that tub, you're gonna have enough dedication to stick to a diet. Now, if you're just starting out and you are grossly overweight, then the best thing you can do is just start by going on a ruck. Try to get 10,000 steps in a day and build on that. If all you changed was walking 10,000 steps a day, you would lose 3 pounds in a month. If you don't eat more. And that's the hard part, and that's why I stay away from cardio. Studies have found a much better benefit to your mitochondria and your bone density through weight training. If you're just starting, it's really easy. Just stick with the big three: the bench press, the back squat, and the deadlift. Studies have shown that bone remodeling from heavy loads releases more osteocalcin than swimming, biking, so on. So you need heavy loads. Osteocalcin has a lot of positive body functions, including hormone regulation. This, in my opinion, is the fix for the SSRIs. Just research into how many people are on that medication and the side effects, and you'll start to understand why we're in the zombie apocalypse. I believe that a lot of the problems that men face today are gone if you just work out. Movement is medicine. You'll be surprised how much better you feel if you work out at least 3 times a week. I've seen a lot of guys who are in therapy, taking all kinds of antidepressants, suicidal. They start going to the gym 3 times a week and their life completely turns around.
Competition.
It's important to have goals or a challenge in your life. If you don't have a goal or a challenge, it's really easy to focus on your wife and have her become the challenge. Studies have found that just having a competition on the calendar will increase your testosterone by up to 15%. Now, I personally chose CrossFit for this because it's less likely that I'm going to get injured than like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or the martial arts. I did a lot of Filipino Kali and Eskrima and stuff like that when I was younger, and I was always injured. I always had a broken finger or something going on with my shoulder. There was always something. We'll put it this way. BJJ has a 60% injury rate, and CrossFit had a 20%. Over a 4-year study they found that 26 injuries per 1,000. Now, I won't spend too much time on this, but if you have an injury, look up muscle guarding. Nothing will set you back and make you feel more depressed than when you have an injury. This was a game changer for me when I got my second back injury. Now, quite a while ago, I hurt my back lifting logs at work. Now, guarding is essentially just your brain sending a signal to the injury to tighten up the muscles because it thinks you're injured in that area, so it just tightens everything up to guard and protect it. When I hurt my back the first time, it took over a year to get over it because I listened to the doctors and I didn't move. If you just go in there and get the imaging done, they're going to boogie you, and next thing you know, you're going to be getting $1,000 million surgery, and then the chances you're going to get better are 1/3. So they did studies on this. They found that if you go in under the knife, one person comes out of it feeling better. Another person comes out of it paralyzed. The third person comes out of it with no difference. So out of your options, you got, I got better, I'm dead, and it's the same. So, I mean, the only times I've seen where this actually makes a difference is if the pain is so bad you want to die. And then it's just like, whatever, I'll take whatever outcome. So the second time that I injured my back, I went straight to doing deadlifts with a broom. And within 3 days, I was deadlifting 315 pounds. See, what you got to do is you got to teach your brain that area is not injured. We're okay. You can stop guarding it now. And your muscles signal back to your brain, hey, we're good. Turn it off. A lot of injuries can go away if you have good coaches, and most of all, you learn how to curb your ego. You just got to be better than yourself, not anybody else. And that's the main thing that I focus on when I'm lifting. I'm lifting to beat myself. I'm lifting to get my own personal best. It's not about competing with anybody else. Even on competitions, I'm just competing so that I can get better at certain movements. Me personally, I like to open up with a strength workout followed by a metabolic conditioning workout 3 times a week, and then zone 2 in between. Usually on the bike erg because you can control your breathing a little bit better. For those of you who don't know what zone 2 is, it's keeping your heart rate around 117 beats per minute for a man who's in his 40s. For you young bucks out there, just take 220 and then minus your age, and that will be your prime zone 2 area. Also, you can just breathe through your nose, and then once you start breathing through your mouth, you know you've went too hard and you need to slow down a little bit. I like to keep these training sessions from about 30 minutes to an hour. This is great for increasing metabolic conditioning, training your mitochondria, so you get a better VO2 max without the need of a lot of recovery. Metcons will beat you in the dirt. If you're doing zone 2, you can train zone 2 5 days a week and you're fine. But it's boring as hell, so that's why I like the Metcons 3 times a week. So how this works for me typically is like on a Monday, I'll do deadlifts followed by like a hard Metcon. Most likely like cleans or snatches, involved possibly some like bar facing burpees. And then on Tuesdays, I'll do like a zone 2 training. And then Wednesdays, I'll do like bench press with like a Metcon of like pull-ups and double unders, maybe some GHDs, some toes to bar. And then on Thursday, I'll do a little bit more zone 2. And then Friday, I'll do some like back squats with some wall balls and box jumps and some rowing. On Saturdays, I always take a day off and rest. And on Sundays, I kind of do just like a real chill Olympic lifting session, just to work on technique. That's kind of what a typical week looks like for me. Now, if I'm training for a specific competition, I will really hone in and dial in on those movements that I'm weak at and really work on those. But that's just kind of like what I do, and feel free to do whatever you want. I mean, this is about you. I'm just trying to give ideas here. All that stuff can be really intimidating, and so the best thing to do is just start with the big 3. Just start going in, doing deadlifts, doing back squats, doing bench press, do 5x5. You know, that's the easy way to get started. If you need some help with coaching, I've got my link below. You can sign up for our mentorship program and I can get you rolling. All of this is basically just do the best with what you have. It's kind of looks maxing. Part of the physical pillar is your appearance, so stop buying your clothes from the Gap. The pickup community has some great resources for looks maxing, like peacocking and chick crack, like Rolo talks about. Myself, I like a lot of button-ups, like real tight button-ups or Henleys, like with a necklace or a bracelet or the hat and sunglasses. Women always notice your shoes, so make sure your shoes are on point. No New Balance. The dad shoe. Part of look, I mean, it's just like, do the things that you did when you were dating your girl. Dress nice. You know, deodorant, shave things. You know, basically all the metrosexual stuff. Find a look that works for you and stick with it. And know that when you start to improve and look better, she will test you. This is just another congruency test like always. She wants to test your resolve. Can I get him to stumble off his purpose? She'll try to get you to stay home instead of going to the gym. Perhaps with shame, like,
"You're always so busy. The kids miss you."
Don't forget the goal here. Unless she offers you another form of exercise, then get your butt to the gym. Don't fall for it. She will make comfort food to sabotage you. That's her lizard brain just mate guarding. She will tell you,
"You're fine the way you are."
but that just might be because she wants to be the more attractive one. But this isn't for her, it's for you. The recovery pillar is just as important as the stimulus. Getting adequate sleep is the best thing you can do for your testosterone levels. Don't overtrain, because your testosterone will take a hit from that from too much cortisol. No cell phones or TVs in the bedroom. That's just like a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer boundary. And I can't believe that I have to say this, but it's so common that I'm definitely going to include it. Your bedroom is your sanctuary. I love my kids, but they do not come into the bedroom. This is a really hard boundary for some dudes to enforce, but it's the biggest one to change the dynamic you have with your wife or your LTR. I will definitely use a nuclear option on this one if I have to. It's that important. The kids need to learn how to self-soothe, and you're not helping them or you by letting them trash your sanctuary. If she's digging her heels in on this one, it's one of those non-negotiables like non-monogamy or like girls trips.
I want to bring in a third.
It's never going to be another girl. You're going to end up like Ross. Most likely she's just using an excuse because she doesn't want to have to turn you down anymore. It's an easy way to reject you without rejecting you. I've heard some crazy stories about girls getting doctor's notes so they don't have to sleep with their husbands. And if that's your girl's frame of mind, God help you. Just run, my dude. Run. And the way this might work out is if she has the kids sleeping in the bedroom with her, I would just sit down with her one-on-one, without the kids there, obviously. Unified front. You want to have a unified front. So if something happens, just let it breeze by, but then sit down with her after the fact, and you can hash it out. But that might look like, from this day forth, if those kids are in bed, I'm not sleeping in the same bed. There's a lot more I could say about this, like don't drink from plastic and all that jazz. The whole 5G thing, you know, you can read books like The Invisible Rainbow, What's Truly Making You Ill. That goes into a lot of things that will get your thinker thinking. I've linked those books below as well. But that's it for this week. If any of this was helpful at all, give this video a thumbs up. Comment below some of the things that you recommend to do. All the good links below. And until next time,